Greetings, I'm the one called Harsha, and welcome to VG Therapy, the channel where I talk about games. Now, back in the day, when I first heard about emulation, I decided to load up my computer full of emulators, because I'm like, oh, well, if it looks like I'm working, then people will leave me alone, but instead I'm actually playing games, so people won't hassle me because I'm playing games all day. And in doing so, I came across this place called RetroWare TV, a website that had a whole bunch of different reviews and stuff like that. And one particular review that I found was a review for Metal Storm on the NES. Now, having played this game through an emulator back in the day, I thought this game was rad as all hell. And it honestly is, and for the longest time I really wanted to play it. I really wanted to own a copy. Because RetroWare TV and all the people there is what led me to collecting and playing retro games. And so I wanted to collect the Metal Storm. I wanted to get a copy of it, but it never came out here. It never came out in any territory, only in the States and in Japan. And at the time, I didn't have an NES that could play those games. I do now because I have multiple NESs, and it was just in time for Metal Storm to be my 1000th game on shelf. And even though for me it'll always have the special note of being my 1000th game, I reckon that it does deserve to be more noteworthy to people.
For those of you who have never heard of this game, Metal Storm is a game made by Tamtex and published by IREM. Tamtex, as I found out, is a subsidiary of IREM, or was. All I could find out is what I said and that they no longer exist. But IREM are cool and are still there, and I have mentioned them in their involvement in this game in the past. But it came out in 1991 in America and 1992 in Japan. Yeah, America got it first because of reasons. There are some differences, mostly a few color changes in text, and an intro cutscene. You make us white like the box art, and the 6th level is a bit more difficult due to added dangers.
While the Famicom version is objectively superior, that doesn't mean the NES version isn't rad as all hell.
The game has simple controls, jump and shoot, however there's one thing this game does that sets it apart. When you look down and jump, gravity inverts. Now if you don't think a mech with gravity control is the tightest thing ever, you can leave right now. The game uses this feature well in the fact that for most enemies in platforming you don't actually need it except in a very small amount of occasions. But in some situations it can make it easier or just as an alternative. Like you can flip upside down to get up and under these turrets to shoot them safely. You don't need to, but it helps, and the amount of platforming that requires it or is made easier by it is what this game is made of. The mechanic is used in some boss battles better than others. Like there's a couple that I never used it, but there are also a few where I relied heavily on it, along with my power-ups.
That's right, there are power-ups strewn throughout all the levels.
These include turning into a fireball when you switch gravity, a shield, and a power boost. You can't have more than one at a time, so you really gotta think about or just know what's ahead, because I know that stage 3 is a pain, but with a shield it's rather trivial. And that's just one example of many.
Well, I say many, but the game's rather short.
With 6 levels and the 6th just being a short hallway with upgrades and a boss rush, I don't want to say it's hard, but at the same time I don't want to say it's easy either. But then the credits roll and you get the first bit of story in the NES version. But wait, what's this, a password? That's right, when you beat the game you get a password, which allows you to play hard mode. A mode in which my first time through with the actual cart took up more than half of my total playtime, and I didn't even beat the first level. Now I did try again when I needed footage for this review, but I wasn't able to get far before giving up.
So I tried looking it up online and all I could find was a video of stage 2 and people talking about it and linking to videos that are no longer available. Now, I don't know what has happened, but something has.
Now I have mentioned a story, but there isn't really that much. The story's about a rogue defensive AI that wants to destroy the Earth, needing to be stopped by you and your mech. And that's about it really. There's some fluff text like you're a high-tech hotshot and a few things like that, but the thing I really take away from it is the ending scroll. Upon defeat of the boss rush and the pitifully easy final boss, you are told that upon returning to Earth, you are given a reward greater than any medal: eternal life. You were made immortal so that you can defend Earth for the rest of time.
Now, I'm not going to get into how cool and or horrible immortality is, but being able to do your job for all eternity is not going to satisfy most people. There's also the question of, is he fully immortal or is he partially immortal, because they don't specify and most people don't. And that can actually drastically change how much of a raw deal this is.
But regardless of that, it's still unsatisfying, which is probably why you go into hard mode next, because now that he's immortal, all that he's got left going for him is mech battles, so might as well challenge yourself, and oh boy is it a challenge, as stated by me not beating it.
This game is great, from the music to the controls. It's fun to play, fun to listen to, it's just amazing. Like, I know I have used the excuse of a game being too short to kind of knock it as a criticism, But this one doesn't really feel like that's a bad thing. And you play through it and you go, oh yeah, this is short, but you don't go, oh damn, this is short. And that might be because this entire second half of the game that I have not played, because it's too hard for me, because I'm apparently not good at games. But either way, as you can probably tell, this game gets a 4 out of 4, a high recommendation. Like, I just absolutely love this game. And with that, I've been Horror Show, and this has been VG Therapy.